So I just wanted to show you my updated lines for my new NHL 21 all-time season. I've really filtered through everything, combed it out, all the players look real. I got the overalls where I want. I'm not going to show you the healthy scratches because I got tons of healthy scratches, but these are my starters. So if you want to pause it and maybe get a close look at the guys, you can. I want to kind of just skim through this. So I've improved their defense a little bit here. Each guy maybe a notch or two just to make them a little better. There you go, Jaguar, you got Gibson at a 90. Oops. I have another this on the wall. I want to do this quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on it. So here I got Wang. I made him a 91. I made his balance very good. I made his durability very good. So even if I hit the shit out of him, he's only 5'6", 150. He's probably like not even 150. He's probably like 100 pounds. I put Bissonnette on his wing to kind of protect him. And then you got Doan. So probably not a playoff team if you look at their roster, considering all the other teams in their division, but solid enough. Smith and then Kemper, I just went with the... Fuck, I keep fucking this up. This is a fun team to use here. I hate those fucking Bergeron and Marchand, but they're such great players. I put Lucic there. And there you go, Bobby Orr, 97. Best defense in the game right here. I put Hal Gill. He's a big guy. Him and Chara together. You could put Don Sweeney, or there's a bunch of other guys. I have them created too, but if somebody gets hurt, then they'll jump in. I like that big twin tower defense. Rask and Cheevers. Buffalo, you got Hasek and Miller. Hasek 97. I adjusted him a little bit too. And you got the French Connection. I hope for their sake the real team doesn't trade Eichel, because that's so like I feel bad for their fans, you know. There you got some big guys here that can hit. So solid D. You got a 90 overall, 97 goalie, which helps. There's the Russian team. Valeri's the captain. He's their best player too. I did adjust these guys a little bit. I adjusted them down just a notch from my last season that I'd started. Except for Karlamov, I think I left him 95. He's like the Russian Gretzky. You can see all 90s, 89 up in the back. Tretiak. Calgary, you got Vernon and Kriprasov I've created. And you got the big line. Fleury, I made a 90. Ginla, their best player of all time, I put him a 92. The only reason I got him on the second line is because I want to keep this old school Flames line together. You got him playing with Nielsen, who's a great playmaker. So, Reichel, Joey Mullen, Lanny McDonald, I improved to an 87. You got Hackenloob. Joel Otto I created. The one in the game doesn't look like him. Solid defense here. Of course, a lot of creative guys. This is a hard-nosed team. I created Bobby Hall. I did the Dennis Hall trick before, but when I played the game, the Dennis Hall didn't look like Bobby. So I created a guy that looks like him, but I had to put a helmet on him, but it works. And then JR, I put on Chicago. I had him on Arizona before, but I'm like, nah, fuck it. He's a Blackhawk. You got this line here, the current day Hawk. Oh, Host is retired now. Now you got Savard as your third line center, so they're very deep. Farmer, Dennis Hall. This is another great defense. Net. Glenn Hall, Tony Esposito, also highly ranked. Colorado, Patrick Waugh, 98, highest ranked goalie in the game for me. I think he's the greatest goalie ever. I made him number one. Got the classic line here. Sack 94 now. Here's your current line. Claude Lemieux, had to create him. It's basically a combination of your 96 Stanley Cup team, your 2001 Stanley Cup team, and the current day. Obviously, there's no Ray Bork or Rob Blake because they're on other teams. But we'll see what happens with the trade deadline. Here's Dallas. You got a great starting pair. Trevor Daley, 86. Obadiah Disador. I got a lot of reserves on their defense. Lots of reserves. The forwards are good. They don't have a lot of reserves, but if they stay healthy, they're going to be competitive with anybody. Fourth line's a little meh, but compared to some other teams, but it's all about how you play too. They got a 93 overall goaltender. All right, Detroit. Terry Sawchuk, I made a 96. Osgood, 89. I think that's fair for him, considering he was a good playoff goalie. Fedorov, Eiserman, Grihau, one of the best lines in the game. Created Shanahan and didn't like the one in the game. You got like a production line here. Darren McCarty, Norm Ullman, and Chris Draper. Lidstrom, Kelly. Yeah, so solid defense. The original 6 teams are all like pretty stacked. There you go. This might be the best line in the game right here. Moose, Gretzky, and Curry. Gretzky's first game scored 5 goals for me. So, and then here you got a modern day line here. Taylor Hall on the left. I'm also considering maybe moving Hall to New Jersey because he did win the MVP there. But I don't know, something looks right with him here. But we'll see how the season goes. Semenko, I put him on the left side, made him an 86, just so he's part of the team. Coffey's part of that 93 defense. I got a few guys at 93. I like Nurse and McSorley as a pair. They pretty tough guys. Grant Fuhrer, 93. If you can see, if you won like as a goaltender, if you won like back-to-back cups, you got 93 overall for me. And if you were a good goalie for your career, you got a 93 for me because I'm kind of taking guys from their prime. Florida, Ray Shepherd, made him there. Horton. I would put Horton on the 4th line. The lines are all fucked up. So this is, competitive. They might get into some trouble if they play the heavy teams, but you got Bobrovsky and Van Beesbrook as your goalies. Hartford Whaler, Sean Burke, and Cam Ward. This is Hartford/Carolina hybrid. I created Hartford because of the crowd in the audience. So I kind of mixed these lines up here. You got a mix here, you got Verbeek, and then you got an old Hartford Whaler line. As you can see, no Ron Francis. I got him on somewhere else. Even though I could have easily put him here too. So, yeah, with the combination of Carolina and Hartford, center ice is very solid. Castle's an 86. I mean, these guys are ranked higher, but it's okay. He's still pretty good. And you got to see the mixed defense. Fun team to use. I created them, so. Kings, Robitaille, Dion, Nichols. This is Dion at a 94. He doesn't get enough respect for what he accomplished in his career. He didn't have the playoff success. He played on those LA teams for all those years, but a 94 for me. He's up there. Dustin Brown, I believe, is hurt. He would be playing right here. Dustin Brown got hurt in one of the last games, so. Jeff Carter, newest Pittsburgh Penguin, got him at 87. Tony Granato. Doughty, Blake. There's Blake. Blake's here because he spent so much time in LA. But if LA falters, I'll definitely move him to Colorado. So a lot of created guys. Quick at a 91. I gave him a 91. I could have made him 92 for prime Quick, but that's good enough. He's kind of slipped off the map a little bit too. Minnesota. This is Minnesota/Minnesota North Stars hybrid. So you got Gaborik with Dave Gagne and Dino Ciccarelli at a 90 overall. Rolston, Koivu, Bellows. It's a fun little mix. Not the strongest D, but you got, they're good enough. They're a hard-nosed team, so. Dubnyk and Nick Backstrom as their goalies. La Belle Provence, Marial, 96 overall. Jacques Plante ranked him, he's I think the 5th ranked goalie, top 5. Ken Dryden, 93. Prime Dryden was ridiculous on that team. There's your big line here. The Rocket, Richard. And Bob Gainey on the left. So this is a stacked team. Big Pete Mahavlich, the Croatian Haitian. Look at this defense. I mean, I got Subban here. I show him some love. LaPointe, Harper. I do have Carey Price as an extra goalie too. New Jersey, 97. He's a second-ranked goalie, Berger. I think him and Hasek are both 97. All right, so starting lineup here. You got the A line. You got Parise, Holy, Billy Guerin. Guerin could have been on a few teams. I left him on Jersey. Kind of helps Jersey out a bit too. Kirk Muller. Carl Palmieri, Zajac just traded to the Island. And you got your Stevens, Niedermeyer, Hall of Fame pairing here. Rafalski, very underrated. Havelin's very good too. Great hitter. Nashville, their strength is their defense here. Weber and Yossi, Seth Jones, Ekholm, and Ryan Ellis. So that's a strong defense. They kind of need it because their forwards are not blowaway. I mean, this line here would be a fourth line on some teams, but they're still going to bring it. And then you got an 88 and an 86 goalie tandem, so respectable for sure. Billy Smith, 4 straight Stanley Cups, gets you a 93 overall for me. Glenn Healy, piece of shit. And you got the classic old school line here. And then you got line of guys who had big careers in New York, but they also got traded away. And you got the classic here, Gories, Gilling, classic Islanders. Pop Vitamoro, you got your stud here. Definitely a hard-nosed, respectable D. Not like all Hall of Famers, but very strong. Rangers, I put the old guys together here as one line, even though Bathgate's a centerman. Here I have to put Panarin and Nash, or Panarin and Zibanejad together. Throw Rick Nash on the side. Kovalev I left on New York. Adam Graves. Ryan Callahan made him. Very good D here. This is a good team. Divisional 6. Lundqvist 93. Even though he didn't win nothing, he was so strong for like the last 15 years. He's probably been the best goalie if you think about it. Him and a couple guys, but he never won a cup, so I still gave him a 93. Senators, Yashin, Alfredson, Heatley. Nick Foligno, I don't have Columbus in the game, so I just left him on Ottawa, although he was just kind of starting out as a Senator. Errol Carlson's back. In net, you got Ray Emery and Craig Anderson. Philadelphia, Vernie Perron, 92. Ronnie Hextall, 89. I got the old school 70s line. Had to create Leach and Barber because none of their guys looked like them at all. Ditto for Lindros, LeClaire. You got the Legion of Doom line. I put Kerr here instead of Renberg. And then you got a nice line here with Recchi Tocchet and Giroux. And good old Wayne Simmons, Mike Richards. There you go. Penguins D. Pittsburgh, Kevin Stevens, Mario Lemieux, Yager, Crosby, Malkin. I made a fantasy player to play with them, so that's just the right winger there. Kunitz, Francis, Ronnie Francis, I had to put on Pittsburgh. And then here you got old like 70s. This is a pre-Mario Lemieux era line right here. So that's a good fourth line. Gaunch and Murphy you could have put on different teams, but I just left them on Pitt. Ronnie Stackhouse, Brooks Orpik. Goaltenders, 93 overall Brasso. And then this guy won back-to-back cups too, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit, so I left him at 88. Prime Murray's probably a 90, but he only did it for like 2 years. Michel Goulet. This is a combination of Quebec Nordiques and Vegas. Vegas and Quebec. Joe Malone, old school player. Read about him. Stastny brothers. The Pacioretty representing Vegas. So you got 4 Stastnys on this team. Duchesne and Brown are the starting pair. Physical D, but not a fast D, so they might get caught. And then 93 overall Fleury. I showed him the respect. I just put Leonard there since he's there now, and might as well put him in the game. San Jose, Patrick Marleau just broke Gordie Howe's games right here. Prime, Thornton, Chichu, Pavelski, Couture, Ryan Clough, Vincent Danfus, Hurdle, Ricci, and Evander Kane, the douchebag himself. Vlasic, Burns created these two guys. Well, not bad. Yeah, I don't expect this team to make the playoffs either, but they're competitive. The Blues, I do expect them to make it. 94, Brett Hall. Keith Tkachuk, I just left on St. Louis. Very younger. You can see very deep up front. Fourth line's a good fourth line too. Crash and bang. Pietrangelo Parenko's hurt, but he's playing. And then Butcher and Ramage, I kind of improved a bit. Yeah, Pronger's a 93. He's in that 93 team of defensemen. You got Cujo and then 87 Binnington. I didn't make him any higher because he's kind of fell off a little bit since the Cup. So, but 87's still good. Tampa, you got Javi Boone and Vasilevsky, 93. I think he's the best goalie in the league today. So I made him that good. You got a St. Louis, Stamkos and Cucci. Point, LeCavier and Richards. This is wrong. Should be like that. Keep the old school guys together. There you go, just filling out the team. This guy just got traded there. I put him there. Their all-time D is not the strongest, but it's all right. Maple Leafs, another original 6 team here. So you got a 90 overall old school line. You got Gilmore centering your fourth line. They got a lot of depth. The D's good, not outstanding. It's Toronto. Their D's always been like that. 93 overall Bauer and a 90, so that'll make up for the defense. Vancouver, Luongo, and Captain Kirk McLean. Sedin, the Russian Rockets. And you got McGillney right there with Linden. I put Pettersson on the left side here because I really wanted my centerman to look like this. So I had to put Pettersson somewhere, and I just left him here. Got Naz and Bertuzzi together with Kessler. And like I said, these teams have a lot of reserves too. I'm just not showing them yet, but I got lots of them. They're all loaded with reserves pretty much. Jovo, Roland, Bieksa, Hughes, Snaps, and then because I wanted another right-handed shot, I threw Tanev there. He played 10 plus years in Vancouver, so it makes sense. Like I said, I got a lot of reserves. Here's Winnipeg Jets. It's a combination of the old Jets, the modern Jets, and a little bit of Atlanta Thrasher. And there's your Atlanta Thrasher right there, Kovalchuk. 93 overall Howard. So these guys can score. Fourth line's kind of whatever, but. And then you got a 91 goalie. Washington Capitals, Holtby at a 90. Kolzig. 95 overall Ovechkin. Gartner, 93. That's what 700 goals will get you. Mike Ridley created. Tom Wilson created. Semin. So they're a good team too. Great defense. That's all she wrote.